Welcome to part 2 of A Call to Arms. So, the question that we are looking at is the photo caption mentions a quote from American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson. What did he mean by the shot heard around the world? So, the first thing that we want to do is look at the picture. So we see that people are fighting over here. It says the first shots of the revolution against the British were fired at Lexington, Massachusetts in 1775. Poet Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that the Americans at Lexington and Concord had fired the shot heard around the world. So let's go back. It says that it was the first shots of the revolution, and it was fired against the British, and it was at Lexington, Massachusetts in 1775. And this was the shot heard around the world. So we're going to go down. So we're going to say Ralph, or actually we're going to say when Ralph Waldo Emerson mentioned the shot heard around, or not even around, it's round the world, he meant. And so I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to say that that he meant that the first shots of the Revolutionary War against the British. So I'm going to highlight that. And then it says that the answer is that this was the shot that started the Revolutionary War. So because it says, we can make an inference, and it says that were fired against the British at Lexington and Massachusetts. So we're going to say he meant that this was the first shot fired of the Revolutionary War. That started the Revolutionary War. That started the Revolutionary War. And I know this because the text says,
it does sound funny when you say because.
and I put my comma and my quotation, says the first shots of the revolution against the British were fired at Lexington in 1775. I didn't mean to do that. All right, so I'm just going to copy and paste this. All right. Notice that I went through all the steps to make sure that the font was consistent. So I know this because the text says the first shots of the revolution against the British were fired at Lexington, Massachusetts in 1775. So you're going to have to think a little bit deeper to explain this. So in order to do that, we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to go down to where it talks about somebody who actually did the first shot. So it says colonists in Boston saw the troops march out of town. Paul Revere and William Dawes, members of the Sons of Liberty, rode to Lexington, a town near Concord. They warned colonists that the British were coming. About 70 Minutemen were waiting for the British when they reached Lexington. Someone fired a shot, causing both sides to begin fighting. So we can just kind of put that actually in our own words. So we can say this means that let's go back and figure out what it said again. When the British reached Lexington, someone fired a shot, and that is what caused fighting to start. Or so this means that the war started when the British reached Lexington, and someone fired a shot from their gun, and then that's it. That's all there is to it. So you're just going to take all of this right here and type your paragraph. You're going to type your paragraph right here, and then that's all for this answer. And tune in for part 3.